Bosh, welcome. Good afternoon. Hope everyone is well. Having a good, what day are we on? Thursday evening. No United this weekend. We do have England tomorrow. So I'm sure there's going to be more and more of this sort of stuff coming as you would expect, obviously with international breaks and all the different things that's popping off with that. And Liverpool fans going on about their perch. I've rattled a few cages this morning on Twitter with some comments about Liverpool, but it is what it is. What are you going to do about it? Let's talk about Harry Maguire. So, what's happened? What's been said? So, supposedly, a source close to Maguire. There's Ogden's done some stuff on ESPN, and Brandon Williams has been talking about him. Here's what's been said. So, a source close to Maguire, my opinion is this is his agent. Says Harry needs pace around him, but he doesn't have that. If you put Ruben Diaz in United's defence and Harry in the City back four, Diaz would struggle and Harry would thrive. Harry hasn't had a good 12 months. Probably a bit longer than that, but okay. But he hasn't been helped by those around him, coaches or players, so it's inevitable that his confidence and form have suffered. Okay, right, let's get into that. So, Harry needs pace around him, but he hasn't had that. Why does Martinez look infinitely better alongside Varane to what Maguire did? Okay, same player alongside him. Malacia's maybe different a little bit, but Shaw's not slow. He might be slow upstairs and he might not have the tenacity to defend, but he's not slow, is he? Right? If you put Ruben Diaz in the Man United defence and Harry in the City back four, Diaz would struggle and Harry would thrive. No, he wouldn't. Absolutely not. Not a chance. Why does Ruben Diaz thrive? Number one, Ruben Diaz thrives because he is an absolute scanning machine. Scanning machine. The guy is constantly aware of what's going on about him. Harry Maguire, he's so fixated on the ball, he does not have the awareness to know what's going on around him. That's the number one issue with Harry Maguire. The number two issue, which is this whole video, is that the fucker doesn't take any responsibility for his own poor performances. Straight out the bat, Harry needs pace around him. No, you don't. Laurent Blanc played in a high line for Manchester United when he was 402 years of age. He was slower than dead people, but he could read the game. Harry Maguire needs pace around him because his awareness is shit. He has no idea what's going on here because he's never done this. Not once. And because he's never done that, he doesn't know what's going on around him. If he did, and he had a football brain, he could adjust himself and he could get into the right position. Ruben Diaz would thrive in the Manchester United defence because he would come in and do the same sort of thing that Lisandro Martinez has just done. Who looks, fucking sensational, by the way. Harry Maguire would not thrive in the Manchester City team. Why would he not thrive in the Manchester City team? One, he doesn't pass it quick enough. He takes far too long on the ball. You can literally see the cogs turning while he's thinking about what to do. He doesn't break the lines with his pass. All he does is pass it to Luke Shaw on his left. Now, okay, if he was playing for City, you might be able to pass it to Cancelo, who might make you look a little bit better, but you're still going to take 3 weeks to do it. You're also still playing on the halfway line, and you're still going to get targeted by strikers with pace. So don't give me the fact that if you played for Manchester City, you would look good, because you fucking would not. You absolutely would not. You would look like the guy that's just been won in a fucking raffle and got to play with this team. You would not look good in the Manchester City team. Let's have it fucking right. Harry hasn't had a good 12 months, but he hasn't been helped by those around him, players or coaches. He's the fucking captain that cost 80 fucking million pounds. Where's the responsibility for him to drag the rest of everybody around him? He was part of one of the reasons that one manager got sacked, and potentially one of the reasons why there were so many fucking leaks with the other ones. The entitlement of this guy's out fucking rageous. Club captain doesn't mean you get to wear an armband and go up and do the toss and passing over of the pendants and that's your fucking job done, my mate. It means you actually have to lead this club. Take responsibility. No one ever, you didn't see Brian Robson coming out and crowing about this, that and the other, or Roy Keane. They was like, no, it's on me. That's what a leader does. Everything stops with me. I hold everybody up to the standards. Not, Right, I'm going to give everyone PTSD with this here, but just close your eyes, think about Harry Maguire. United have just conceded, and Harry's doing this with his fucking curtains over his face. Why is he not chewing someone out? Potentially because it was probably his fucking mistake which has conceded the goal. Brandon Williams. I'm going to be honest, I think Brandon Williams was fucking drunk when he had to give this interview. He certainly looked like he was drunk. He says if you're doing well in training, who's some little idiot sat on Twitter going to tell you that you shouldn't be starting a game? Who is he? Genuinely don't get it. Harry's a top fella, top captain, top player. He'll have a great career. He's already had a great career. He's on stepping stones and he'll get, I don't know what that means, and he'll get to the top where he wants to be. He's already at the top. He's the captain of Manchester United. I dreamed to be that one day and he's already done it. Brandon looked like he was drunk to me. So he was rambling. He was waffling. I also don't expect the truth out of interviewing an academy player. I think it was at a boxing event. This isn't a tell-all interview. This isn't a Brandon Williams exclusive to dig into Harry Maguire and give you the whys and wherefores. He's also not in the team, so he's got no right to really talk about somebody else's place in the team, in a negative sense at least. This is what's called playing the game. Whether he believes it or not, I don't believe that Brandon believes that. Giorgio Chiellini, brilliant defender by the way, has launched in. He goes, I am sad for Harry Maguire's situation because he is a good player. They require too much of him. No, because they paid 80 million for him, he has to be the best in the world in every match. It's not right. Just be the best in the world once would be good. And he goes, okay, Harry Maguire's maybe not Rio Ferdinand, but he's good enough. So Chiellini's weighed in on his side a little bit. Paul Merson recently has had to apologise for earlier quotes that he's made. I'll read you the quotes out earlier. Harry Maguire, 80 million, is ridiculous. Ridiculous at the highest level. He's ripped it up with England. He's played in a free. But when you play in a free, you must play in a free for one reason only. The defenders aren't good enough and you don't trust them. Anything wrong? I don't think there's anything wrong with what he's just said there. And then he says, I want England to win the World Cup and I want Harry Maguire to get the winning goal. It was just my opinion. I rang up Brendan Rodgers and said, can you get me Harry's number? I didn't feel comfortable with myself. I need to ring him and say, I don't agree with the 80 million, but I shouldn't have said that and I'm sorry, I went a little bit too far. So what's going on, man? Why is Harry Maguire getting this sort of apologetic treatment? Now, I don't think he's asked Brandon Williams to talk about him. I think Brandon's just playing the game and not talking bad about the company in public, right? Chiellini is a weird one. I don't really fully understand that one. Maybe he's just saw the international games and puts more weight into them or something. I don't know. Paul Merson strikes me as someone that's had a phone call off an agent. Someone in Maguire's party's come out and made those statements. What's prompted that? Maguire's been dropped by United and he's having a dig at his teammates. So he come out and specifically his agent or whoever it was, the source close to him, I believe it's his agent, has come out and said De Gea doesn't defend high enough. There's no fucking leader there. Now, people will defend Harry Maguire and they'll say, Harry Maguire's not said that, and technically you're correct. Right? It's a source close to Maguire has said this, right? Sometimes those people have their own opinions. And we've seen those people have their own opinions, and when it's been counter to what the athlete actually thinks, they've come out and they've said, I disagree with what this guy said. Has Harry Maguire come out and said, you don't talk for me, that's not what I said, David De Gea is a great goalkeeper? No, he's not. Why? I believe it's because that's exactly what he fucking believes. Because he's too fucking chicken shit to actually take it on the chin, realise he's been replaced by a far better fucking player, and now he's worried. He's worried for his place at the World Cup, which he should be. He's worried for what he's going to do. He's worried he's going to lose the captaincy, and he should be. This isn't the first time these things have happened with Maguire. And for some reason, like TalkSport, I know, low bar, TalkSport was basically going all guns blazing on the Harry Maguire defence train this morning, which I don't fucking understand. Why? Have they all been told that they're going to change, that are not going to talk to the press? Have they worried that they're not going to get their interviews? United have had a better defence this season when Maguire's not played. Maguire's suggesting that's because the worst defence last season, he was a massive part of it, at least 25% of it. United have lost every game he started this season. The guy that's replaced him is a literal fan favourite based on his performances. This fucking lunatic. And if you want to win one of those, I'm giving away 4 of those to people who've just joined as YouTube members. It's odd that lots of people are defending him. I'm going to be honest. I think it's odd. I don't know if there's a World Cup on the horizon. I don't know why people are defending him. I don't know how you can defend him. I wish that Harry Maguire could defend on a football pitch as well as he's being defended off it, because he'd be fucking unreal. He's been replaced. That's what happens. It's ruthless, but that's the game. You're the club captain, you cost 80 million, you haven't been good enough, we found a replacement, thanks, fucking good night. And I do not believe he is willing to be the sort of guy that sits on the bench, having cost 80 million and been stripped of the captaincy if that's what happens. I don't believe he's the kind of guy, evidenced by the fact that his agent's out here bumping his fucking gums at any opportunity, blaming this guy and that guy and this guy. All right, sweet. If Manchester United's defence was so bad last year because David De Gea didn't defend high up enough, why do you look so bad in the 11 right now when Martinez is out of the team, and why does he look so good when he comes in and replaces you? Why? And if this is purely for the fact that he's trying to salvage something of the World Cup, well, guess what? You ain't going to be moving teams between now and the fucking World Cup. So you better pray that you start against Italy and Germany. And you better pray that you have a good game in both of those games. Because coming out and criticising David De Gea as club captain, via an agent, if you want to say that, is not going to fucking get you in Ten Hag's team. Your performances and attitude in training are the only thing that are going to get you back in the team. And the evidence of what we've seen on the football pitch for all of the games you have started this season is that you are not good enough to play in Ten Hag's team. There was a glimpse of that on pre-season, and then there was a massive, bright, shining light of evidence of that once the Premier League season started. Now, you might still play for England. That's because international football is 2 gears slower than Premier League football. Listen, like the video if you think I'm right. Downvote it if you think I'm wrong on Maguire. You guys let me know. Thumbs up if you agree. Thumbs down if you disagree. Or get it in the chat. Robbie says, players sitting around on the bench or the squad for years and years needs to end it. He needs to be sold. I agree with that. Poundland Pele says, Harry's downfall started in Greece, never recovered, doesn't make decisions quick enough and hasn't recovered any recovery speed. I'm sure he's a good guy and not a bad defender, but let's face it, he needs to go. He's a good defender in a team that's going to play back foot football, like Manchester United did when he was signed. The reason to sign him when we signed him made sense. But 1 year after that signing, I think it was a year. He was decent. Not amazing, but he was decent after a year. Then when Manchester United were sort of asked to start playing higher and higher. 1, hold more possession. 2, play a higher line, start trying to dominate and press from the front. That's what Manchester United tried to transition to. And we tried to, especially once you've got Ronaldo and you've got Sancho in the team and now you've got Rafael Varane as well. All of those factors keep moving up the line higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And it exposes Harry Maguire's inability to defend high more and more and more. And then you bring Ralf Rangnick in. Now, Ralf Rangnick speaks about players just needing to, just not listening to what he wants to do. when you hear that Harry Maguire's not happy with the speed of our goalkeeper, doesn't think, needs pace around him, I think 1 + 1 = 2, and Harry Maguire was one of the players that was being a dick for Ralph Rangnick. Not necessarily linked, but maybe Ten Hag identified the same thing. Maybe he was told the same thing. Brings in Martinez. Was desperate to bring in Martinez. Brings him in. And that one signing alone improved United. Ericsson has improved us to another level. I think Malassi has probably took us up half a step as well. But Martinez on his own has made an enormous difference to Manchester United because of how good he is in the back line. Monkey Gamer says, "Hi Stephen, how are you doing?" Fine, thanks for asking. "Everything you said so far is true. If he was a true captain, he would have come out and defended his teammates like all other captains." Can't argue with that. De Silva says, "Don't think Harry has ever played well in a United shirt. Conde Rome with a good World Cup and a media hype will go down as the worst signing in Premier League history." Wow. No, I disagree, mate. I think he has had some good performances, but I think if you play a counter-attacking side, when he's got two midfielders in front of him, when he's got to defend his box, he's excellent in the air. He's a hell of a threat when it comes to aerial balls. But you want to play on the halfway line, you want to recycle possession, you want to have good recovery pace. He hasn't got those things. Someone's just said he would be good for Paddock, not sure about United. He wouldn't be good for Paddock. He's too fucking slow. I'd play on the halfway line. Genuinely wouldn't be good for us. He would get spanked on pace alone. Clearly, he would be technically better than fucking everyone, probably. But like on pace alone, he would actually make us worse. John says, "If Bruno said this, the media would have been killing him." I see no lies there whatsoever. Breen says, "Only good in a negative back five." Alam says, "Bro." Darren says, "Maguire or Jones?" Genuinely believe Phil Jones has got more about him as a footballer than Harry Maguire. Yvonne says, "Stay, Harry wouldn't even make the cut to play on Copley Astro on a Wednesday night, let alone captain of our club. I blame Ollie for his ego, but now he's taking the piss with these comments." Wow. Mark says, "If you weak, we'll always look next to you." Club 1878 says, "Let's be honest, he isn't good enough. If he were world class, we'd have issues with these comments. But for a player benched by a new signing coming from Eredivisie, it's just embarrassing. Sell the prick." Wow. Con says, "Sell to Newcastle, give us 50 million and we'll throw Phil Jones in too." Stefan says, "I can't believe you're believing ESPN. It's a shocker, really." I think I do believe what's been said to the press. Yeah, sure. And Itchy says, "Maguire would have been a good signing under Mourinho. Ruben Diaz also knows Spanish, so he would not have been a flop." Also, yeah, on that, so I left that out of my notes, actually. He says, the source says, Martinez can speak to De Gea because they both speak Spanish. Please go and watch any interview with David De Gea in the last few years. David De Gea speaks better English than Wayne Rooney. Like, David De Gea speaks fluent English. He is perfect speaking and understanding in English. Now, yes, I would agree he's quiet. He isn't Peter Schmeichel in terms of how he marshals his backline. But the deflection from Maguire pisses me off. So it says, "What did Solskjaer see in this guy?" Playing a defensive counter-attacking side, it did make sense. Playing on the halfway line did not make sense. Luca Brazzi says, "Check your FIFA 23. De Gea has more pace." Bran says, "Ten Hag should be angry that Maguire lied to him. He told the other players to get everything off their chest before the Liverpool game." Yvonne says, "Not sure why certain people are calling out Brandon for his interview, though. Brandon's not going to come out and say Harry is shit, is he?" No. You can't win there, unfortunately. As an academy player, you cannot win. If you could, like, I haven't spoken to Brandon in ages, right? So I don't know what his true thoughts on Harry Maguire are. But I'm sure he probably has a different opinion of him to his friends. Brandon, Jimmy Garner, Angel Gomez. Who else was there? players of that sort of ilk used to take the piss out of Lukaku for his first touch in rondos and stuff. Literally take the piss out of him to his face. They're not fucking shy, retiring kids. They're ruthless. They know good players when they see them. I'm sure he has a different opinion in private, but as an academy player, you can't come out and just rinse the club captain in an interview. You got to play the game. I don't know what people expect. Son says Ronaldo is training at the highest level and pushing to get into the team. If the GOAT is doing that, Maguire should be ashamed of himself. Yeah. Darren says captain should lead by example by playing their position at a high standard consistently. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. Malu says so many excuses. Nobody in the team makes you lose 1v1 duels. All I'll point to is look at how, I think Martinez and Varane had a tough time with Gabriel Jesus' movement in the Arsenal game. But they dealt with him for like 80 minutes. I think he might have had one shot. He certainly didn't score, obviously. They dealt with him. Yeah, they were put under pressure, but they dealt with him. They had him under wraps a little bit, right? Harry Maguire comes in and just fucking belongs him. And I can't remember who I was watching with. Whoever I was watching with, I turned to him and went, imagine he'd been on from the start. How differently this game goes. Just on that one thing right there. Dean says Roy Keane must be spitting feathers at Maguire. Notch says Fergie defended his players publicly. That's all Brandon did. Yeah, I think that's probably a little bit of that. Brian says my local team, Shamrock Rovers, have quicker centre halves. Genuinely, centre halves have to be quick nowadays. Forwards are generally the quickest players in your team, right? Most teams, if you want to play a certain style and brand of football, are going to have to get their defence up to the halfway line. If your defence is on the halfway line, boy, you better be quick going back. That's my own team, right? We play exclusively in the opposition half. We had an 11v11 versus our reserves on Tuesday this week. We spent 90% of it in their half. But it's extremely dangerous when they just ping one over the top. You've got to go and recover that, and it requires pace and awareness to do that. And Harry Maguire doesn't have either of those things. P. Maka says Mengi's better. Mengi, literally, with the style of play that we're trying to play, is a better fit than Harry Maguire. John Hemingway says, Steve, I'm struggling to understand how Joel thinks Malacia is technically better than Evra. Is he huffing paint thinner before you record? I don't know if that was a wind-up or not. Dean says, if we want to see how football is really played, watch non-league. The quality is amazing. The majority of play a high line. Yeah, I don't think people realise. Non-league is not Sunday League. And I bet these teams in Sunday League trying to play football to a very high level. I guarantee it. Adichie says, waiting for Joel to say that Maguire is a much better than Vidic and Rio. Jeremy says, slowest pace-wise nowadays are your midfielders, Eriksen, Jorginho, slow speed, but they run the furthest. Yeah, they run the furthest. They've also got a touch of an absolute angel. And I'm not sure Harry's got either of those things. He hasn't got a touch. He hasn't got pace. He hasn't got awareness. What is it? He's mega at heading. And even though he's mega at heading, I mean, has he actually even scored a set piece for us yet? He should be a threat in both boxes, and he's not. He's useful in our box when you're under a lot of crosses, for sure. But outside of that, nah. Can I think of any other defender in history that doesn't scan like Maguire? No, I can't believe people argued with me. And there was a guy on Twitter was like, you've made this up. Or I've made up fucking scanning. Are you insane? Like, have you never played football in a park even? Like, what the fuck are you on about? Scanning's one of the most fundamental things. It's the one thing I will reiterate to my lads the most. Is check your shoulder. He's always check your fucking shoulder. When we're doing possession boxes, I will walk through them and nudge people in the back if they don't check their shoulder. The fact that you've got Manchester United's captain, a player that was bought for £80 million, he will go for 10 minutes without scanning. It's insane. I think one of the best players in the league at the moment is Kevin De Bruyne, right? If you ignore the game and watch Kevin De Bruyne, he doesn't go half a second without just a constant little thingy. Paul Scholes was a master at it. Paul Scholes, now, going into a little bit more technical detail here, Paul Scholes and scanning, supposedly only Ji-Sung Park came close to him when it came to this. Now, there's a bit of a software and a machine that Mick Clegg uses at his lab down in Ashton. And it's, you wear 3D glasses, there's a big 50-inch TV in front of you, and there's a lot of basketballs. And I think there's 20 basketballs. That number might not be correct, but there's somewhere in that sort of range of basketballs. Now, all the basketballs have got a number on them, 1 to 20. And because it's 3D, they move up, down, left, right, and they have depth to them as well. So the balls will all swap positions. Paul Scholes and Ji-Sung Park were nearly flawless at telling you where all 20 balls were. Now, when you think about the application of that for a football team, that means you know where your 9 outfield players are and all 11 of the opposition players are on the football pitch at any moment. So the balls have a number on them, the numbers go off, all the balls move, and then they can get the number on every single ball in the correct order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way to 20. Paul Scholes and Ji-Sung Park were the only two apparently that could do that. And the reason that they can do that, they've obviously got some sort of method in their brain for remembering the places of everything. But what it does allow them to do is when they do scan, they look over the shoulder. Right, okay, so Rooney was there, Ronaldo was there, Berbatov was there. They've got that picture in their head, not just of where their players are, but where the opposition players are. Now, I don't know what that skill is called, if it's even got a name. But that is something that Harry Maguire just doesn't have a fucking clue even exists. That, I can't tell you how, if someone was to say to me, like, look, my son's really good at football, he's 6, what should I work on? And the first thing I would say is comfortable with both feet and scanning. Because if you know where everybody is and you've got the comfort and ability to be able to pass the ball to them off either foot, then you're going to be a good footballer. If you know where everyone is, like someone comes into me, I'm left-footed. Someone comes into me, let's do it this way. Someone comes into me on my left foot, can't turn on my left foot, but my body's open, perfect for a right-footed pass to that guy over there. I can keep playing and I can go move into a better position. So the two things I would say for a kid growing up, scan and be both-footed, and I think you'd be fine. Terry Lee Murphy with a super chat there says, what do I think of the Ronaldo and Jordan Peterson picture? I think people forget what Ronaldo's just gone through. I hope he's seeking some help. I honestly don't know. I don't know what to think. We'll see. Is he doing content with him? I don't know. Yvonne says, you know he's shit when enough followers on the Stretford and were laughing when he got subbed on versus Arsenal. Felt like last season when people were scared to slate him at the match and it pissed me off. Lewis says, spatial awareness or photographic memory. Yeah, there's probably something in that. Spatial awareness might be the one. But just knowing where everybody is unbelievable. And it's a hell of an attribute to have. Ed says, I think Southgate's the source, doing damage control for his special boy. We were going to do a video this week called Why Southgate Loves Maguire. And we were going to sort of explore that a little bit. I'm not going to do that now because I don't think 2 Harry Maguire videos in 2 days is the answer, but maybe it's something to look into maybe after next week. If he plays 180 minutes this weekend, maybe there's something in that, I think. Mark says, I think you're 100% right, but don't think scanning is the right terminology for everyone. From Manchester, that's the correct term. Yeah, scanning maybe isn't the right word. Maybe someone else has got, I don't know what it is. Check your shoulder is another one. Mac is in the comments, just says, all right, love. All right, son. Maguire is a complete donkey, and I've said it since day one, says Sion. Mangwa says Maguire needs AirPods in for the spatial awareness he is missing. Do I have any expectations for England in the World Cup? Nope. Adam Shaw says Chris Smalling was a better footballer than Maguire. See, he's a better 1v1 defender. Maguire gets a lot of credit for his playing out. I think he's okay at playing out. I don't think he's amazing at playing out. I think his playing out abilities are massively overrated, either because of what he's done in the back three or because of the left side nature of Manchester United's play and all the rest of that sort of stuff. VK says it's positional awareness. I don't think it is positional awareness. Positional awareness is putting yourself in the right position relative to everyone around you. The actual act of the scanning is something you need to do to then get into that. I think they're two different things, though. What was I just talking about? What I was talking about? Oh, Chris Smalling. But Chris Smalling's awful in possession. Harry Maguire and Chris Smalling might actually be a really good partnership in a team that plays counter-attacking football. Harry Maguire and Chris Smalling might be Jose Mourinho's like secret fantasy centre-half partnership. They'd probably work. Lil says, I'd look at the people around Harry Maguire speaking on his behalf. Yeah, where the fucking hell's Harry Maguire's balls? You're the captain of Manchester. Think about the people who've worn that fucking armband. Gary Neville, right? Probably like the lowest out of the recent captains, but still, Gary Neville would not let you talk for him. Nemanja Vidic didn't talk at people, he fucking growl at you. Roy Keane, Cantona, all right, didn't talk. Beat you in the chest, though. Brian Robson. Can you imagine anyone coming out and saying all of this sort of stuff on their behalf? Wayne Rooney, even. Absolutely fucking not, is the answer. Ronald says, honestly, Maguire had enough time to come out and defend by saying it wasn't him or close source or whatever, but he hasn't done that like he did with the Ronaldo instance. I feel Smalling better than him for England. Yes, Chris Smalling's not even been fucking given a tug for England. Nothing. Sam says, morning, pal, or afternoon, pal. This ain't captain material, is it? Looking forward to see how Ten Hag deals with this. He's going to sit him right down. I fucking hope so. Ashley Young wore the armband, didn't he? He did. No comment. Do you know what? Clip this up, send it to us. I would like to formally apologise to Ashley Young. I once called him the worst fucking captain I'd ever seen of Manchester United. And I would like to apologise for that. Ashley Young is not the worst captain I have ever seen for Manchester United. Harry Maguire is by far, and I mean by far, the worst captain I've ever seen for Manchester United. And I know privately, this isn't an academy player fucking drunk at the boxing talking. I've spoken to academy players who tell me that Ashley Young's fucking well sound and got a lot of time for them and tries to work on their game with them. Now, it was a shit idea to try and do a Cruyff turn in the new camp, granted. But he is nowhere near as bad as fucking Harry Maguire as a captain of this football club. Absolute fucking shambles. Leaf says Smalling was a problem, but he was better than Maguire. He'd defend better, wouldn't he? Yeah, it's right. Rank them. Bill Jones, Chris Smalling, Harry Maguire. Give me your 1, 2, 3 in the comments. Go. Shazon says after the Bruno interviews and this Maguire leaks, they just need to make Bruno captain at this point. Maguire's really made us miss Tony Valencia and Young as skippers, says Ed. Brian says, who am I giving the captaincy to when Maguire is inevitably stripped? Martinez, in my opinion. I don't like giving it to new players, but I'm not sure there's anyone sticking around here long enough that is captain material. I think Bruno's too emotional. But you're looking at Bruno or De Gea, aren't you? That's pretty much it. Well, let's see what you guys are saying. YouTube commenter says Jones, Smalling, Maguire. MA says Smalling, Jones, Maguire. Breen says Smalling, Jones, Maguire. Smalling, Jones, Maguire. Jones, Smalling, Maguire. At the moment, no one's put Maguire first. Oh, someone's put him second. Just Yankers just put him ahead of Jones. So Smalling, Maguire, Jones. Wow, there is 90% of people here. 95% of people, maybe. There's another one there. Eddie's put Smalling, Maguire, Jones. Fargo says, yeah, there's a handful of people here that are saying Maguire second, but the majority is going Smalling, Jones, Maguire. I'm shocked at that, actually. Shouldn't be shocked, but I am shocked. Sarim says, when I first spotted the scanning, when you first talked about it, I couldn't believe how bad it was. I thought he was good. It's horrific. It's horrific. It's genuinely horrific. Yeah, everyone's pretty much, yeah. Wow. Yeah, but yeah, one of these is playing for fucking England tomorrow night, probably. Probably gonna start. IR says, Steve, is Phil Jones genuinely the highest paid player in the world by football games played? Gotta be, Annie. Gotta be. Ed says, I'd like Varane skipper. There's some people have been coming talking out some pretty good stuff, haven't they? Manvaru says, I feel like the armband would be the physical/metaphysical restriction to the fire in Bruno's heart. He's acting like a man without responsibility. Is that I can't work out if you're saying that's a positive or a negative there, to be honest with you, mate. Hakeem says, technical ability allows your eyes off the ball when in possession and decreases the amount of required eye contact when controlling the ball. That gives Scholes time to look for passes. Yeah, when you haven't got your head down trying to figure out what the fuck you're going to do, you can keep your head up. Mastery of the ball with your head up is obviously a difficult skill to have, and you need that at the very top of the game. Brian Casey says Southgate probably make him captain after this. Can you imagine? If Harry Kane don't play, who is going to be the captain of England? Watch it be Maguire. I will literally laugh. I would fucking literally laugh. Big Bag Basis says, nobody is fit enough / young enough / good enough to be captain for us, unfortunately. Yeah, and that's why Maguire ended up with it in the first place. What, you're going to give it Paul Pogba with the shit he's spouting? You're absolutely not. He was probably the best fit for it, but he was never getting it. I don't think Rashford's the sort of personality that was screaming captain at the time. It was literally just like one of those. Mayhem. Absolute mayhem. Dale says, Steve, any updates on the Paddock FC app? There might be. I believe it's ready to submit now, finally, properly, and done to the app stores, various app stores. I reckon if you're on Android, you might get it very, very quickly because their approval process is smaller / non-existent. Abu says, I think Garnacho deserves minutes. I don't agree. Don't disagree with that, sorry. So, yeah, all right. Interesting. Do you think he'll go in January or summer, or do you think we'll end up stuck with him? What do you guys think? And on that, I'm going to wrap it up. But cheers for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe if you're not. If you'd like to win, I've got 4 of these to give away. Become a YouTube member. Keep it locked. I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters.